Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile, Delirium League 3.10. In this episode, I'm going to showcase, I forgot to show, these are Tier 16, Blighted Summits, Triple Teal, 20% quality, no Alk. So I'm going to show the character fully AFKing, Tier 16, Blight, no pots, no abilities. Here, just to make it clear as fuck. No abilities. Just 2 towers, fully AFKing, and what I'm going to talk about is how I did it. How did we actually take the character from what we had to 6,100 life and surviving all Blight situations? So let's show it. So basically, to give an example of how I know that it can do it, I have done this on stream for like 10 hours. And I have 58% XP from not dying. So if you know, Blight doesn't give very much experience. So the amount of Blights you have to run and survive to build up this experience, basically you have to be able to run like, well, don't die in 20 maps to gain XP. And if you die in like 20 maps, you're back to 0. And so you have to literally do hundreds of maps, and you finally start building up XP, and you'll get automatic levels. Technically now I'm at the highest tier Blight, fully AFK, not dying. How did I do it? So the big differences between the build I recommended in my build guide and this one, after a little bit of refining, what I did was there was a few things. So I guess the first thing is I realized that I switched the Elegant Hubris. This was the first thing. I switched the Elegant Hubris to a 240 life one, so 80 life, 80 life, 80 life for 7 points from the 240 damage in my previous video. So the 240 life made my zombies go up to 86,000 life from like 40 something thousand, 42, 44. So this was an insane amount of life, to where my stuff wasn't dying anymore, and I realized I could take Decay Ward. I didn't have to take Decay Ward anymore, and Decay Ward was through our glove, so I switched the glove to this thick, rare glove with 131 res, and then I crafted life on it, so this glove gave me over 20 more than the old glove in all the reses. It's pretty insane. So basically, it gave me super good res, and then I could go into my skill tree, and I was using like Diamond Skin and Soul of Steel, so I took off Soul of Steel, I took out this path down through the strength area, and now I was able to spend those extra points in life, and I was able to use my extra jewel socket. Instead of using Fortress Covenant for the block for the zombies and stuff to get the Decay Ward to pop to heal them for 2%, I'm using just the Enduring Composure and then a Wall of Muscle. I don't need the Wall of Muscle, but it's fine. It works. We still have all our 1% reduced mana jewels. You already know. Gotta represent them. 1%, 1%, 1%, and we got the 1% up here. So we have 4. We still use Thread of Hope to get the Ravenous Horde and the Cruel Prep. But the biggest differences was getting my life up to 6,000. This has been the breakpoint where I stopped dying. Also, another change. So, I mentioned the zombie thing previously. We still use Awaken Brutality, no Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy's on Stone Golem. Stone Golem has 66,000 life. He still dies occasionally. Every like 4 or 5 maps, he finds a way to die with 66,000 life. It's insane. He just starts getting beat, and he's not healing enough, so he just dies. So anyways, this is the other change. I'm using this boot right now instead of the Alberons, and this is for Blight. So this has strength, increased strength, life, and move speed. And this is technically better than the Alberons. I'm missing the Chaos Res, but I don't need it. And the benefit is, well, more strength than the Alberons with this. Also, I could get an even better boot than this. This is just to show an example that's better. I didn't craft it, so don't ask for a crafting video. I bought it. It was very cheap, 100 seat. So anyways, I have this cast when damage taken, level 1. This is the Blight setup, okay? Only use this for Blight. You use cast when damage taken level 1. It triggers level 38 gems. So, well, 38 requirement. So Mortal Call level 3 with 20% quality. From the endurance charges, from the enduring composure from getting hit recently, we're getting 71% physical damage reduction, or less damage taken, and 26% less LE. So this takes the fireball damage from a 5k hit down to a 3 point something k hit. It's way more manageable. It also destroys the really big physical hits when we only have, well, it's normally 9, but when we're near enemies, when we've gotten hit for Gruthkuls, you gain physical damage reduction. When you have endurance charges, you gain physical damage reduction. So we go up to 29, but then we also get more physical damage reduction from here. And then we have the Bone Offering, and Bone Offering just works off of the corpses that are being generated from my zombies killing the monsters in Blight. So you don't need Desecrate for Blight. Also, then with the extra slot, because of not using Desecrate in Blight, I was able to add Frostwall. And Frostwall was a Chet creation. So basically, imagine I was complaining that I was getting off-screened by bosses and monsters shooting me, and then they would just keep shooting me, never coming to the pump and not getting close enough to die because we don't have Feeding Frenzy anymore. And so the thing was, somebody said, "Did you know Frostwall blocks projectiles?" And I was like, what? I thought it only blocked monsters and, like, walking, and what? It blocks projectiles? There's no fucking way, dude. So I put it in the build. I try it out. And, to my surprise, well, yeah, I just stopped dying. It was the complete solution to the build. So now we have all this, like, mitigation. We have 1 billion damage. You can see that my Stone Golem actually did die. He's a legend in the video. I don't have my mana flask either to resummon. Oh no. Well, it didn't matter anyways because we beat the map. Fucking Stone Golem. How does he still die? It's so insane. But either way, that's how we fully AFK T16. Those are the changes we made. Now we'll go through the loot. Let me get my Flame Dash back. All my flasks now that we showed it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I like putting the Frost Wall there so we can see it activate. See that one activate. Portal, and we have a Holy Relic that we don't use because Holy Relic only does something if you attack, so there's no point in using it in Blight. You can have an extra socket. What you would use, I don't really know. You could put Valisum and Skeleton 1 link in your build if you really wanted to. It doesn't hurt. Let's turn back on my Purity of Elements. So yeah, we found a version of the build that's 100% AFK T16 Blight viable. And we've even tested it, and it's running the loop, and we'll be able to get to 100 this way, fully AFK while farming, which is pretty fucking broken if you ask me. So yeah, don't know what the hell is gonna happen now, but we're gonna improve the build even further and make it even better at what it does. And then I think it's already viable for tier for 1500 delve. So I'm now wondering how far or what can we do with the build this season now, knowing what we have already done. It's pretty interesting to me. I'm excited to see what I'm going to be able to do, but I had to put this out here to explain to people what I changed to get this build to work for T16 Blight. Maybe these changes, like adding my cast when damage taken setup, will help them in lower tier if they switched out the Feeding Frenzy like me. This may not help them specifically for T16 because it took my entire build to finally do this. So think about that. You most likely would still struggle on T16 unless you have my full build, all Awakened Gems, everything. I'm not joking. Exactly the same build or better. You shouldn't expect to be able to do it with anything less, so I would recommend doing lower tiers. What do I think about lower tiers? They're great. I started on T1, then I went to T2, and then I went to T3, and I upgraded through the tiers. And that's how I started my league. I literally got into mapping and started T1 Blight. So you can too. No one has it. I pretty much could almost AFK it at tier 1. It was insane. It's that easy. No one has an XU60. Meteor Towers, Clear Oil, all the tips. Those are so anoints on your rings. You can use an Opalescent and a Verdant Oil to get Meteor. It drops an additional Meteor. This is really OP for Blight. You can also use clear oil on your map, because clear oil reduces the monster move speed by 30%. And what I found is that reducing their move speed, it makes it really hard for them to walk around your minions, your skeletons, your zombies, and your specters and shit. And so their pathing gets all screwed up, and they waste so much time trying to get to the pump while they're just getting absolutely destroyed by meteor towers. The meteor towers pretty much do way too much damage, and what I found is if you could infinitely keep the monsters away from the pump with your minion creep block, then the meteors will do all the damage. They can fully clear Blight, basically. It's kind of insane. Okay, let's identify and corrupt. We got Clear Mind, and we got Brawn. Let's do the almost perfectly rolled Brawn. Boom! And it's dead. What about this? And it's dead. Some other small tips that I would recommend if you guys are having trouble with Blight, you should ask yourself 2 questions. If you are beating Blight or if you're losing Blight and it's because they destroy your pump, then it means you don't have enough damage, and the best ways to get damage is by making sure you're not missing anything in the build. And by that I mean maybe make sure that all your gems are leveled up. You got your 20/20s, maybe a 21 zombie, maybe the Empower form, maybe a weapon for the extra levels. Maybe you need the soccer walls, maybe you aren't using all your auras, maybe you didn't think you needed one. I don't know. Maybe you don't have all your passives. You can do /passives and look and make sure you got 24. There's a bunch of things you could be missing in the build. If you're still having trouble, you should probably try to get a 6 link if you don't even have that. And yeah, just trying to give the basic tips for some individuals that still have some issue completing Blight at all or getting their build started. And now I added this extra part because this is pretty important. So give me a second here. I've made a POB of mine and I've put everything. So this has the Thread of Hope working, where it allocates the Ravenous Horde and the Cruel Prep. I got the Death Attunement in. I have my Elegant Hubris giving the 240% increased life to match the 86,764 life on the zombies. I have all this stuff. I got my jewel down here. I got all that life. 6109. It matches the game perfectly. 1075. This is it. Okay, you ready? This is the cool stuff. So then we can go into here. And I added vulnerability 12 to match the vulnerability from my AG that's getting automatically applied from the glove. And then I also, technically the vulnerability from the Curse Spectre, the Merveil's Retainer is also higher, but whatever, it's fine. And you can see that we have 1 million DPS per zombie. So we have 12 million with impale stacked. And that's what's completing our T16, which is pretty much what I've said before. In the past, I said that 10 million was good enough. We have 12 million, and this is with impale, and impale is disgusting, because what you guys may not notice here is that this is against Shaper Guardian, and without it, 1.1. So, like, look at it barely loses damage against bosses. It's insane, dude. It's insane. Absolutely disgusting. So our damage is the highest it's ever been. And we're pretty goddamn tanky, so we've done really well, and we've made a great build, and I just wanted to show this. And Frost Wall is like the secret tech. The other thing is, look at the 3.9 duration, 20 quality, I believe, 20% increased skill effect duration, yeah. So I should probably be doing that to have Frost Wall be better, but for now, it was just testing. But it seems to be the difference to keep our build alive. And we have the damage, and this is the threshold for doing tier 16 fully AFK. It's not even leveled up gems. I'm going to leave this exact POB in the description below. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. Obviously this gives people a threshold to try to look for and try to get through other means. We now know specific criteria, so if people can match this that I made, then and cheaper, or in a different way, then they've got it, and they can then prove it in the game. Either way, hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you guys for the support. Hope this could help people with the build so that they can do this themselves. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and YouTube members who financially support the channel, along with my 52 subs on Twitch. Thank you guys for all the support. I can't do this without you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode or stream. Bye!